Hello my friends, and welcome to the fifth and final video of the Life of Awesome Change series. I'm so happy to have you here with me in this video. We have covered so much ground in the previous 4 videos and have learned how to decide what changes need to happen in our life and what actions we need to take to make those small changes to create a life of awesome. Now, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to this video and to this channel. It actually helps boost ratings so that we can spread the word faster and to more people so they too can create a life of awesome. Now, this video is all about getting into action. How we can take what we've learned in the previous 4 videos and actually implement it into our lives so that we can create that life of awesome we so desire. Now, we make about 1 billion choices every single day. We decide when to get up, what we're gonna have for breakfast, what we're gonna wear that day, what route we're gonna take to work, what we're gonna do when we get to work, how we're gonna treat others. We make decisions all the time. Some of them consciously, some of them subconsciously. And with so many decisions going on in our life all at one time, it's so hard to focus on the changes that we want to make in our lives to actually improve it. It's so easy to just fall into a routine and get up at the same time, make the same breakfast, go to take the same route to work, and it just becomes such routine because it's easy. Well, the same thing applies to the changes that, we kind of toss and turn around in our heads. We get complacent and we get restful and, it's just easier to sit on the sofa and watch TV instead of actually in sparking change in our life. And so, my first tip in making changes in your life, focus on 1 or 2 changes at a time. That's it. Don't do what I have done in the past and try and change everything all at one time. It becomes so overwhelming and so mundane and tiresome. When I was drinking, or when I quit drinking, drinking wasn't the only thing that had to change in my life. And, I had to change everything about me. Not only did I have to put down the bottle, but I had to start working out. I had to start eating right. I had to get my finances in order. I had to build relationships back up. I had to do this and this and this and this. And I wanted to focus on all of it at one time. And it was impossible because every time I would spread myself so thin, things started to falter in other areas of my life. I would be so focused on building up income and building up new businesses and things like that, that I would forget to eat right and forget to go to the gym or make excuses not to do that. Also, I would forget, about the main factor, which was my sobriety. I would put meetings on the back burner and I'd not do my readings and I wouldn't meditate and I wouldn't pray and I wouldn't do any of this because I didn't have time. I was focusing on everything else. And, when I'm focused on building up relationships, I'd try and build up all those relationships and then other things would start faltering. It got so frustrating and so exhausting that eventually it all just fell apart. But I've learned over these past couple of months, after I've put down the bottle and have worked on my sobriety and built up a good foundation with that starting to implement other changes in my life has actually become easier because I was able to focus on 1 change at a time. Once I had, a solid amount of sobriety and was able to go day to day without, tormenting myself, I began focusing on my health. I began focusing on, the food that I intook into my body. I wanted to drop weight because I not only looked terrible on the outside, but I felt terrible on the inside. And so in actually focusing on that 1 change, at that 1 period, other changes, other smaller changes in my life actually started to kind of put themselves into motion. So I didn't have to put so much focus on them as long as I was focusing on this one change that I was wanting to make. And over the course of the past couple of months, I have dropped 40 pounds. I am looking better on the outside, and I can actually look at myself in the mirror and be happy with the person looking back at me. Foundation of sobriety, and then making one change. After that, once I had that under my belt and, a good routine of doing low carb and actually, getting out and getting some sort of exercise, I then shifted my focus onto the change I wanted to make with my financial situation. I started investing in stocks and in a retirement account and saving money and actually paying my bills so that I could build up my credit and things like that. So I have really found that focusing on one or two changes at a time and really putting my focus into there, I've been successful in so many other areas that I wanted to change. So how in the world do we actually decide on the change that we want to focus on at the moment? So we have all of these different changes in every single aspect of our life that we want to make. We want to start saving more money. We want to build a better relationship with our partner or our family or our friends. We want to eat better. We want to start working out. We want to do all of these different things. How in the world should we manage only focusing on one change or two changes at a time? Well, it actually depends on you. If you go back to that fresh analysis, what area of your life did you actually score the lowest on? So when we rated each of those areas, the financial, the relationship, the employment, the spiritual, and the health, what area did you actually score the lowest on? That might be a great place to start to decide what changes of the area you should focus on right now. Because if you start focusing on that area and put all of your focus there, then those other areas will probably start to blossom as well. And one thing that I can recommend in doing in trying to decide what area of your life and what change actually needs to happen right now, what area and change you should focus on right now, is make a consequences list. Weigh out the pros and cons of each of the changes that you want to make, especially in that area where you scored the lowest on. So if we took an example that is very, very common, a lot of people want to lose weight. They want to make that healthier change in their life. What exactly are the benefits and the consequences of actually making that change? So if we took something like losing weight, what would be some of the negative consequences that would result in losing weight? Well, first and foremost, you would have to be more of a dictator about what foods you put in your body. We know that in losing weight, it's about 80% of the food that you ingest and about 20% of exercise. So if we only focus on the majority of what changes our weight, then we could probably have pretty beneficial results in doing that. So what are the negative consequences? Well, we can't sit around on the sofa and eat chips and cookies and crackers and cakes and ice cream and pizza and nachos and all this other wonderful stuff anymore. At least not on a daily basis. I am a full proponent of treating yourself once in a while. And while I do a low carb diet, pretty much Monday through Friday right now, I do treat myself. Yesterday I had some chips and salsa, and it was delicious. My sister made calzones, and it was fantastic. But that's not something that I do every single day. It's a little treat once in a while, and it makes me feel good that I'm able to incorporate that into my life. I don't have to be, a Fidel Castro about it. I don't have to be like, no, I can't eat that. As long as I'm able to do it on a once in a while type basis. So what are the other negative consequences of actually focusing on weight loss? Well, I can't really think of any. Other than not being able to eat what I want, when I want, how I want, as much as I want, I personally can't think of any other negative consequences. Okay, but we'll put that on the list. We're not going to be able to eat the sugary, salty, carb-ingested foods that we love all the time. So what are the pros of actually being able to lose weight? Well, you feel lighter, you look better, you have more energy, your muscles and joints don't ache as much from carrying around all that weight. People start to look at you differently and actually, and maybe it's unfortunate, maybe it's not, actually tend to treat you with more respect if you look as if you take care of yourself physically and health-wise. And I think the best positive consequence about losing weight is, for me, I feel better about myself. So we're not only treating the physical overweight, we're treating the mental overweight. I mean, I've said this time and time again, when I was 70 pounds overweight, I couldn't even look in the mirror without absolutely annihilating myself with negative criticism. I hated myself. And when I actually started taking those steps and watching what I ate and saw the results, then I just wanted to keep doing it even more. I wanted to take it to the next level. So I started a 30-day challenge and I really got that ball rolling. And every time I looked in the mirror, my confidence just started growing slowly at first. And I didn't even notice the changes until about 30 days in, after the carb challenge was complete. That's when I really started to notice, even though everyone else around me noticed a lot quicker. So once we have decided exactly what area of our life needs the most focus right now, and we know of the change that we are going to make to improve that score in that area, I would highly recommend creating a daily goal list. So this is basically 3 objectives that you want to obtain in that day. It doesn't have to be anything monumental. That's the great thing about making small changes in your life. It doesn't have to be astronomical. It doesn't have to be mind-blowing or earth-shattering. Just small changes so that we can progress slowly and steadily and unveil a huge transformation. It's amazing. So setting 3 daily goals each day. So when I was going through my weight loss, my general 3 goals, and this is very simple, very basic, was meal prep on Sunday. Every morning I would pull the container out of the fridge that I had packed, put it in my lunchbox, and eat it at work without going to the vending machine. So I would pack my lunch, I would eat my lunch, and I would not buy anything from the vending machine. 3 simple goals every single day. And you know what? It worked. It worked brilliantly. I was amazed at how I was able to transform my body and my mind by doing those 3 simple exercises every single day. Now, if your goal, if the area that you need to work on is finance, is money. If that's where your main focus is right now, what 3 goals can you complete every single day? Well, if you are a daily Starbucks drinker, and I know financial planners all over the world would say, quit buying Starbucks. It's $5 a cup of coffee. You could be saving that and putting that in retirement. And they're right. They're absolutely right. But if you are in a financial means to buy Starbucks every single day and that brings you joy, then I say go for it. But if your main concern, if the area of your life is finance, that is a frivolous purchase that adds up ridiculously. So, goal number 1, no more Starbucks, make my coffee at home. That $125 that you saved could actually be put towards an espresso machine. It tastes a lot better at home, and it's actually fun to make. So, goal number 1 of people who want to grow their finance area of their life, no more Starbucks. Number 2, start writing down exactly what we spend each day so that we actually see it on paper. Keep a financial journal. So make 1 entry every single day. That's another goal that you could do. Number 3, save your change. I know this sounds absolutely ridiculous. A lot of people will count out their change at the grocery store or the gas station or whatever so that they get their things to the exact penny. I'm telling you, don't do that. Take your change, throw it in a mason jar or some sort of jar in your house. I was able to save over $700 by saving my change one year. It was astronomical. So those are 3 small goals that you can do every single day. Whew. All right, so I know that was a lot of information and it's coming at you very quickly, but this is so important when we want to make small changes in our life. We have to know exactly what we want to change, how we're going to change it, and then we need to be able to track our progress. This is absolutely vital so that you can keep up with exactly where you're going, how you've gotten there, and where you're going to go into the future. So keeping a journal is a great way to actually track your progress. Now, of course, when I was on my weight loss journey, I was tracking my progress by weekly weighing myself. Very simple task. Step on the scale. If it went down, then I know I'm on the right track. If it stayed the same or went up, and occasionally it did, I know that I would have to reevaluate what I did for that week and actually analyze what steps I need to do to progress my journey further. If you're on a financial journey, tracking down everything that you spend and everything that you bring in will help you actually visualize and see what's going on in your bank account. With relationships, I would definitely keep a journal. If you start incorporating compliments or whatever, make a note of it and make a note of their reaction. How did it affect them? How did it affect how they treated you back? So that you can actually build upon that. Tracking your progress is absolutely vital in this stage of the game so that you know what works, what doesn't. Because the same thing that works for me may not exactly work for you. It may not work for your lifestyle or your genetics or whatever. It may not work exactly that way for you. So trial and error is definitely something that we're gonna have to play around with. But if you actually track what you're doing, then you will know exactly what works and what doesn't work. Now, this is my favorite part of making changes in my life, and it's so essential. Otherwise, we will just burn out and fizzle. It's actually appreciating the process and rewarding yourself. I mean, what is the point of losing 50 pounds if you can't, get something out of it? Something little surprises here here or there, if you can't go out to a grand meal? What's the point of saving all that money if, you're just gonna watch it sit on your shelf, or, put it in your freezer, or under your mattress, or even in a bank account? What's the point? Life is meant to be worth living. And, I am fully in support of treat yourself whenever, you deem it necessary. So, and actually admiring and appreciating the process that goes into it. Losing weight is hard work. It takes discipline, it takes willpower, it takes mindset, and sometimes it is just exhausting. I remember the first week that I had started that carb challenge, I was starving. I was starving all the time, and yet I was constantly eating. I was eating celery, and I was eating peanut butter and nuts, and anything with the lowest amount of carbs that I could possibly shove in my body. And yet I was still hungry. But you know what? Once that week was over and my body actually started to adjust to this new lifestyle, and I started looking in the mirror and I saw my face kind of slimming down. And this is the thing. Every time that I've ever lost any significant amount of weight, people always say, "Oh, your face looks so much thinner." And my first reaction is, "Oh, great. So I had a fat face." I know, it's ridiculous. It's crazy what my mind thinks. But I was able to appreciate the process because I could actually see the results. When I started working on my finances, I was actually able to start saving money because I created a budget and I stuck to the budget. And I was actually able to see my savings account grow. And then I was actually able to invest in some stocks, and I saw them starting to grow. And now I'm starting to invest in a retirement fund, and soon that'll be growing. And so seeing the results and appreciating the process that I have gone through has been monumental. And when I actually step back and take a look at the work that I've done over the past couple of months, I can actually look at myself and be proud. I'm proud of the progress that I've made. I'm so proud of, of continuing on this journey of sobriety. I'm so proud that, I actually got a handle and took action when I decided to lose some weight. I'm so proud at the fact that, I actually have a little bit of money saved up. That feeling, that reward is unmeasurable. It's so gratifying to be able to say that I'm proud of myself. And of course, along the way, I rewarded myself in different ways. After the first 10 pounds, I went out and I treated myself to sushi. It's one of my favorite foods. I don't eat it very often, but I went out and I treated myself to sushi. When I, started saving money, I treated myself because I wanted to learn stocks, or I wanted to learn more about stocks and things like that. I started investing in, a couple of stocks, researching those, and have actually seen them kind of expand and blow up, which was very exciting. And so rewarding myself and actually appreciating the process has been my favorite part of this journey. The last actionable step in creating a life of awesome is to keep growing. Once we've built up that solid foundation in the area that we want to change, we have to continuously keep adding steps to continue the progress. So with my sobriety, once I had put down the bottle and had a good amount of sobriety, that wasn't enough. I had to, I started to reach out to more people to actually help them achieve their goal of sobriety and live a happier life. With the weight loss journey, I was so enthusiastic in dropping the 40 pounds. I had built up a solid routine that I was adamant about all the time. I was eating properly. I was getting a little bit of exercise, but nothing major. And at this point, I've actually hit a plateau. I've reached a point where my weight isn't dropping anymore like I would want it to be. And I want to go ahead and lose 30 more pounds. I'm inspired to do so, and that's my goal. That's my vision. And so I need to actually increase the steps that I'm taking in order to do that. So what would that look like? So I've got the eating habits under control. I've cut out a majority of the junk food and the fast food and all the high carb foods that I absolutely love. And I've built up that habit of eating better every single day. And so what's next? Well, the next step might actually be to incorporate some strength training into it. It doesn't have to be a lot, at least not at first. It depends on ultimately what I see myself as looking at and feeling like. But, just starting to incorporate the next small change, the next small step in my life so I can continue to evolve. Because I don't want to remain stagnant in where I'm at right now. I can be proud of the progress that I've made, but I can be even prouder in knowing that I have, a new goal and a new vision to achieve. With the financial journey, I am so excited that, I have finally gotten to the point where I'm able to save a little money, invest a little money, pay my bills, which a couple of months ago was not an option. I actually have a cell phone with service on. And so what's the next step? Well, I've decided that I definitely want to learn more about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all these other investments. There are business opportunities that I'm interested in investing in. And I want to start generating income from some of my side hustles and creating passive income so I can have money flow more easily into my life. And so those are the next steps that I need to research. Now, going back to, only choosing one or two change to make, I really need to limit down my options and focus on one thing at a time. In the health sector, I need to focus on, maybe just taking 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day to do some high intensity cardio or some strength training. I'm still in development on that, but that's the next step I need to take. And in that area, I just need to focus on that one thing. I've already got the foundation of the diet, and so now I'm just going to build on top of it a little bit. With the financial thing, I've got the foundation of, where to put my money, how much I can allocate towards bills, and, having a little fun in life, and things like that. Now I need to take the next step, the next reasonable step into generating more wealth and more income for myself in the future. So keep on growing, my friends. We all have it in us. My friends, I really hope you got value out of this series. I absolutely enjoyed presenting it, and I really hope you got something and you can take something away from it. In fact, I know you did, and I would love to hear about it. What was your experience like through this series? Did you have any aha moments? Is there anything that you think maybe should have been incorporated? I'd love to hear your feedback. Please comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you got out of it. And make sure to subscribe to this channel because so much more content is coming, and I can't wait to help as many people as I can live that life of awesome. My friends, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day and keep being awesome.